A neighborhood Karen tried to take my Mustang and called the cops when I refused. What she didn't know, I'm the police chief. Watch how entitlement backfired. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening. Your support means everything. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, life is peaceful and predictable. The protagonist, a reserved, humble individual, takes pride in their pristine, custom Mustang. The car isn't just a mode of transportation, it's a symbol of their hard work and years of dedication to their career. Every morning, as they head out for their daily run, the gleaming vehicle always catches their eye. For them, it represents something more than a car, it's the culmination of a long journey. They aren't one to boast or flaunt their success, preferring instead to enjoy the calm and the sense of accomplishment quietly. The neighborhood is friendly, and most people go about their business without much fuss. But that's all about to change when one of their most entitled neighbors, Karen, takes notice of the car in the driveway. Karen, a self-righteous and domineering woman, has always been the neighborhood boss, known for her constant involvement in HOA matters and self-proclaimed leadership in the community. Karen believes the world revolves around her opinions, her rules. Her son, a spoiled teenager named Kyle, shares her sense of entitlement. While Karen focuses on controlling others, Kyle focuses on getting what he wants, no matter the cost. One day, while riding his bike down the street, Kyle spots the Mustang parked in the driveway. He stops, his jaw drops, and a greedy smile spreads across his face. His first thought is not admiration or respect for the car, but a sense of entitlement. "That's a sweet ride," he says to himself. But instead of appreciating the vehicle, he begins scheming how it could be his. A few days later, Kyle knocks on the protagonist's door. He stands there, arms crossed, with an air of superiority. The protagonist answers with a polite, friendly greeting, not expecting the interaction to go any further than casual small talk. However, Kyle cuts straight to the point. "I want your Mustang. Give it to me." The request is so bold, so outrageous, that the protagonist freezes for a moment, trying to process the audacity of the demand. "Excuse me?" the protagonist asks, unsure if they've heard him correctly. But Kyle stands firm, convinced his entitlement makes him deserving of the car. "No one else around here drives something like that. My friends would be so jealous." "I'll trade you for my old car," Kyle insists, trying to stay composed. The protagonist calmly declines, explaining that the Mustang is not for sale. They offer to help him find another car that suits his taste. But Kyle doesn't take kindly to the response. He scoffs, "You're not even going to give me a chance." The conversation is tense, and Kyle, unaccustomed to hearing the word no, becomes increasingly irritated. But the protagonist simply repeats their refusal and walks away, hoping the matter will end there. It doesn't end there. The next day, Karen appears at the door, her voice dripping with disdain. "I've heard about the way you treated my son," she begins, her tone dripping with superiority. "Kyle deserves that car. You have no right to be so selfish." Taken aback by Karen's boldness, the protagonist remains calm. "It's my car. I've worked hard for it," they explain, but Karen is having none of it. "You're being unreasonable. I'm calling the police. You're harassing my son. He deserves that Mustang," Karen announces, pulling out her phone. The protagonist stands silent, a sense of disbelief washing over them. Karen, in her infinite arrogance, has no idea who they're dealing with. They brace themselves for the call but know that Karen's assumptions about the situation couldn't be more wrong. With her phone to her ear, Karen dials the police, demanding a response. "Yes, I need to report harassment," she says. "Someone in my neighborhood is refusing to hand over their car to my son. They're making threats." She proceeds to embellish the truth, completely distorting the situation to paint herself as the victim. In the meantime, the protagonist remains unfazed. They quietly walk outside to check on their Mustang, wondering just how far Karen will take this absurd situation. When the sirens grow loud, The protagonist knows what's coming. They continue with their day, not bothering to look toward the road as they know the officers will arrive soon. As the squad car pulls up to the driveway, Karen's smug expression is clear. She's won, or so she thinks. As the officers step out of the car, they are taken aback when they see the protagonist walking toward them. The lead officer pauses, eyes widening in recognition. "Chief," he says, looking at the protagonist with wide eyes. It's then that Karen's world begins to shift. The protagonist, standing with confidence, is revealed to be the police chief of the local precinct. Her smug expression falters as she realizes her grave mistake. Karen stumbles over her words, her tone now shaky. You're the chief." The protagonist remains calm, nodding. "That's right. And you've just made a rather serious mistake," they say, voice steady. Kyle, standing behind his mother, looks at the officers, realizing the gravity of the situation. The smugness fades from his face as well, replaced with embarrassment. The officers, now fully aware of the misunderstanding, exchange knowing looks. As the conversation unfolds, Karen becomes more defensive, trying to justify her actions. "I was just trying to protect my son," she says, though her words fall flat. The officers, who have witnessed many cases of entitlement, recognize the situation for what it is: an embarrassing display of arrogance. One officer says, trying to be diplomatic, "Calling the police over something like this isn't appropriate. Your son's actions were out of line, and you should reconsider how you handle these kinds of situations." Karen's voice shakes as she tries to argue, but the officers stand firm. Kyle, now clearly uncomfortable, looks at the ground. The officers remind them both that actions have consequences, and that this situation could have been avoided had they simply respected the boundaries of others. The protagonist takes a moment to speak with the officers privately. They share a brief but pointed conversation, reinforcing the idea that no matter who someone is, respect should always be at the heart of their interactions with others. The officers nod in agreement, with one even suggesting that Karen and her son might benefit from a lesson in humility. Karen, meanwhile, is escorted back to her house, embarrassed and humiliated. She mumbles an apology, but the damage is already done. The entire neighborhood is already gossiping about her outburst, and her reputation has taken a significant hit. The fallout from the incident is swift. The community, once respectful of Karen's presence, now keeps their distance. Word spreads that the chief of police lives just down the block, and people start to realize that a little humility goes a long way. Meanwhile, the protagonist continues their day-to-day life with grace, taking solace in the peace that comes with not having to prove anything. The Mustang, though still a symbol of their hard work, no longer serves as a source of drama. Karen and Kyle are left to reflect on their actions. Karen, her pride wounded, retreats into her house, while Kyle, after some long talks with his mother, begins to learn that entitlement doesn't get you far in life. A week passes before Karen, her demeanor noticeably softer, approaches the protagonist at their driveway. "I owe you an apology," she begins hesitantly. I overreacted. My son and I both did. We're sorry for the way we treated you." The protagonist, ever the diplomat, accepts the apology with grace. "We all make mistakes," they say, offering a smile. "It's how we learn from them that matters." Karen nods, thankful for the forgiveness. She leaves with a newfound respect for the quiet police chief who simply wanted to enjoy life. As the protagonist drives away in their Mustang that evening, they reflect on how, sometimes, a simple moment of humility can lead to the most profound lessons both for others and for oneself.